Hello, hello, and welcome back to Paint Minis Live. I'm back from my trip to Michigan and Indiana. Um, Had a great time visiting some family out there, um, but I'm happy to be back in the studio and ready to finish off the Horde of the Damned. So I've got a little quick information for you guys. I'm going to be hitting my StreamYard, free trial, I guess. Not really a trial, but they allot you a maximum amount of time that you can stream on their platform per month. So I'll kind of be losing some of the goodies that are with StreamYard, like the banner and some of the other stuff, if I want to continue streaming for the rest of the month um, without having to pay for their service. It's a pretty good service, to be honest. If you're into streaming, I'd kind of recommend taking a look at them. Um, but it does come with a bit of a monetary charge to it. So I've been kind of contemplating about whether or not I want to go and get their service. But just a heads up, things might change a little bit. Doesn't mean I won't be streaming. It just means that we'll be losing some of the fun stuff that you see on the screen. That being said, tonight my goal is going to be to kind of tighten up some of the areas on these skeletons. Some of them have had just some paintbrush strokes on them that maybe went a little wide and clipped other pieces on the model. So I'm going to go ahead and get that all fixed up on the ones that are super egregious. And then I think I'm going to move on to their little banners that they have on their little pikes, I guess. I'm going to call them a pike. I think they're a pike. And if that dries in time, we're going to be weathering these guys. And I think that's my plan for tonight. So let's get started, shall we? I'm going to get the camera set up for you, a little bit of wiggly wobbly as we get on over there. Actually, let's see. Maybe I'll put it right about there. I seem to be painting somewhere in this area most of the time. But for some of our new viewers who have hopped over from whether it be the Dungeon Delver or other places that I've been to just say hello and see other people's works, thanks for coming. Appreciate your company and taking a look at what we do here at Paint Minis. I try to expose as many people as I can out to the art of painting miniatures and just the hobby in general. I think it's really fun. It's really cool. And I wish more people were involved in it because it's a very cathartic, relaxing thing for me. And I think that many people could benefit from it. And that's kind of my goal here at Paint Minis Live, is just to expose people to the hobby. And by you being here and being a subscriber to the channel, you kind of further that goal. So thank you very much for doing so. I'm just kind of doing a quick visual inspection on some of these guys to see what I can glean from them. Let's see if we can get a nice close-up image here of kind of what I'm talking about. You can see on this particular model, if I can get it to focus, maybe not, I'll have to maybe just point that out with the brush. But there we go. On this guy, right in these two areas, it looks like I was doing something with the green on here, and he got I got a little too enthusiastic with it. And there's a couple of little green spots on them. And that just happens with batch painting. You'll find that, you'll have some missed brush strokes in there. And I like to clean those up on models that are particularly egregious when doing this batch painting process. I mean, it'll just happen. Some of them are very pronounced. The ones that aren't very pronounced, though, I'll let it pass. Little dots here and there, I mean, that's just painter's marks. If I was doing this for commission pieces, on the other hand, we'd be doing some pretty thorough tidy up. But this is kind of more of a passion project. These particular skeletons are going to be going out to they're going to be going out to the dungeon minister for his Honeywood campaign that he does with his family. And so I'm not entirely worried about it, but I would like to maintain kind of a quality standard, because he puts out a lot of stuff that his campaign, I really like watching it. So I want him to have some good miniatures as kind of my little thank you to him for putting out the stuff that he does. I think it's really important that creators here on the YouTubes help each other out and help each other further their goals and such. This guy isn't too bad, actually. Yeah, you're not horrible. I'm just sorting them out by ones that I think really need the attention, ones that don't, really quickly here. While I have the chance, before I kind of approve them, so to speak, to go to weathering. Yeah, that guy's pretty flawless. This has been quite the project so far. I've had a lot of fun painting them. It's been maybe a little monotonous at times. Just going through and doing little bits on the model and then calling it good has definitely helped a lot. Like, I'm going to do all of their spearheads, or I'm going to do all of their little shields, or what have you. It's definitely helped me get through this project a little easier. Not really seeing anything crazy on that guy. Most of these are pretty clean. There's just some of them that are not quite where I'd like them to be. It's mostly on the legs that I'm seeing problems. But the vast majority of them, they're looking just fine. Yeah. I'd say there's only maybe a couple of miniatures in here that need paint up work. Obviously, the flag bearers, both of them, I got a little overspray from the airbrush on them that I'll have to clean up, so those guys will go in that pile. This guy right here has a little bit on his knee. That's a little too much for my liking, so I'll have him do that. This guy's got, he's alright. Yeah, I think he's good too. Nothing crazy on you. So I've been following along with Mini Warmutt over on his channel and watching his little paint challenge for September, and it was just, do as many as you can, and let's just kind of see what's going on. I thought it was awesome. I've seen a lot of painters, a lot of channels that I normally wouldn't have, thanks to that. So kudos on Mini Warmutt for sparking the creative juices on that challenge. I've kind of just been following along. This guy's pretty wild. He's got a little bit of too much brushwork on him, but it's been a good time with this challenge and following along. I was watching, I've been watching Frost and Fists. Frost and Fists. I've been watching some of their stuff, tuned into a stream while I was on vacation. They were playing Space Hulk, so I kind of enjoyed watching them play through that game. That was interesting. I watched a question and answer session with Who Took My Dice, and he is really into the lore and just anything Ultramarines. And I'm a worshiper of chaos when it comes to 40k. If you can't tell between the Poxwalkers and the Death Guard miniatures that I've done up already, those that chaos is kind of my jam. So if you are into Loyalist Space Marines for 40k though, I would definitely check out Who Took My Dice. Looks like, what did I use for, it was like a burnt sienna that I used. I'm just gonna check. Transparent ground, brown. I'm trying to remember all the paint colors I used since I've been on a little bit of a road trip vacation. You know, I am finding that there's a couple of these guys I missed some like leather cowls on, and that was kind of my oopsies. And now I have to try and remember the color. Also, there was another trumpeter in here, I believe that. Let's see here. I thought there was a trumpeter that I really hit up with red. Nope, looks like I fixed that earlier. Cool beans. So let's break out. Luckily, I know what color their base color is, and that's just pale yellow. I think it was dark flesh I was using for that. So we'll shake both of these guys up real quick, and we'll get some paint flowing finally for the stream. I think, was it 20 hours total that I can do live? So if I do this, it'll bring me up to 16 for the month. So we should be able to get a couple more sessions in before the end of the month with StreamYard, which will be nice. I hope everybody's having a good Sunday night out there. It's kind of nice to be home after a long trip out on the road and being in hotels. It is kind of nice to come back home, but I had a great time. If you haven't seen it, I've got in the community section, I've got some pictures of my trip and, you know, just some miniature-centric pictures. I saw a really cool miniature ship out there and a little Dutch village kind of thing. Kind of interesting. But yeah, welcome to the show. I see we have a newcomer. So welcome. Just getting ready to do some cleanup work here on these skeletons that we're sending out to the dungeon minister for his family role-playing game. So let's get some paint on our palette here. Hey, it's Uncle Brett. Hey, Uncle Brett. How you doing? Good to see you. I had a great time watching the stream the other night with Kyle Schwann's Conflict. If you guys haven't seen that, Uncle Brat stars and that stream over on the Dungeon Delver. You can take a look at that over there. He was playing Conflict the other night and going absolutely hog wild. But I had a lot of fun watching you on that there, Uncle Brat. It sounded like you guys were having a great time. As for your question, let's take a look-see here real quick if I can get that up on the screen. Here we are. Uncle Brat asks, since I don't use or paint miniatures, what's the best way to start? Well, if you are you wanting to paint them, I guess is kind of my follow-up. Are you wanting to get into painting them? Are you wanting to play with them, like on a physical tabletop? I guess that would kind of be my question. Because if you'd like to start painting them, that's going to be a totally different answer than if you wanted to like collect them and just use them on the tabletop, because there's some various lines that have miniatures that are already like pre-painted, and you might want to go after that if you're just going to be using it for those purposes, which is totally fine. In my book. But if you're looking to start painting them, I would say step number one is probably to get just a couple of supplies ready. And that would be my advice. Pick up some brushes, pick up some good paints, and then get the miniatures that you want to paint, because that'll probably be that'll give you a good base to start off of, rather than getting the models that you want and then you're kind of out that money, and then you want to go and pick up your paint supplies, and you're like, man, I only budgeted $50 or whatever for this whole project, and I just bought my models, and I don't have the tools or supplies needed to actually go and paint them now. So now I just have these grays that are kind of hanging out. So I would say supplies may be a good idea. In order to get you ripe and ready for getting into that side of the hobby. There we go. Again, I'm just kind of tidying up little spots here and there that are maybe hit by previous color coats. Nice. Looking better already. And little mistakes do happen along the way. So that is a-okay to go back and touch up your work when you need to. When the paint dries, it all kind of camouflages itself right in there. Especially since I didn't do any weathering to this yet. if you're interested in just playing with the models instead of painting them, I know Dungeons and Dragons and I think it's Pathfinder both have pre-painted models that you could take a look at. I believe also Critical Role has they've been putting out models. I saw some of their models in a hobby shop recently, and I was pretty impressed by them. But they also have some pre-painted models that are tabletop ready as well. And there's absolutely zero, in my mind, zero things wrong with using pre-painted miniatures on the tabletop. But if you want something custom, if you want something that's maybe a bit more, with a bit more care and finesse put behind it, usually, oh, let's see here. I have no liking for miniatures, but I love model shipbuilding and model railroading. Okay, gotcha. So it sounds like you're already kind of into some of this then. I would say that's, yeah, I haven't really done any ships. So that would be totally new ball game for me there, Uncle Brad. As far as railroads and ships go, I could tell you a bit more about, like, if you were going to do up a table for them, because I did do some terrain tables that you could use with doing trains and such. And some of those models require a bit more of a specialized kind of more of a specialized talent to them, especially like ships, Age of Sail kind of stuff. They definitely have a different skill set, since you're going to be doing rigging on those ships and things of that nature, anything with ropes. It's not necessarily my wheelhouse, but I'm sure if you were interested in it, I could do a little information and do a little research and get you some better information on it. I do like some of the model railroad stuff, though. I have to admit, I personally, I think it's a lot of fun watching some of those guys put together their dioramas and the trains, and how much love and care they put into that. They make some absolutely beautiful stuff. I just have not delved into that particular hobby. I've wanted to try my hand at some World War II stuff, so I might end up with some of those skills, mainly from the World War II side, if I do go down that path. I find that a lot of more of the realistic modeling done up in those communities is done with color palettes that have a lot of the same colors, like it's brown based, green based, gray based. Trains, you're looking at like reds, a lot of red cars involved there. But I find that they predominantly run around that kind of color palette. So that might be a little tip for you, is you'd be looking out for various shades of similar color, and using that to bring out your contrast. So it looks like for the majority of these guys, they're all kind of back to where I want them to be. When I'm going to use the weathering to kind of feather, so to speak, some of these guys, because I did put on put it like directly onto places that had a bit more shadow, so to speak. That's okay. Do you happen to have a favorite kind of ship, or maybe a favorite kind of train that you're really into that you'd want to like build or have if you had the chance there, Uncle Brett? For me, hey, how's it going, Jack Boy? Good to see you. Jack Boy's in the house. For me, I think if I was going to go after model railroading, I would want to go after like the coal-powered trains. I think those would be really cool. Or like, sorry, steam-powered trains? Kind of that thing. The old coal loaders. And then for ships, I'd want to do like Lakers and do up some of the ships that I've seen in my youth growing up in Duluth that would go under the lift bridge. You had an HO scale railroad that your father had developed. Holy man, to a 60-inch elevation? Huh. Was that like made a diorama of it where it would go like up a hill? Because that's pretty cool. I've been kind of sucked into the video game world today. Me and Jack were playing Baldur's Gate, and that was great fun. We had a good time doing that. RPG Grandma put out a great video, kind of discussing the topic of video games and RPGs. She's put out a lot of really good stuff out there, especially if you're a newer dungeon master or a player just interested in stuff like that. RPG Grandma has some really good stuff. She's super laid back. She's kind of got this air of fun and witty around her, as well as some great little tidbits, tips and tricks, and I guess I'd call it, some wisdom about her, which is so much fun to listen to, like watching her stuff. Still waiting on Jack Boy though for those Imperial fists whenever he's gonna be in the studio next to work on those guys. Yeah, this was the guy that had the helmet that I hadn't quite caught. Okay. Yeah, sure. We'll see what kind of time there is, and I might pop back on there. Trying to be very careful here as we're kind of at the end step. All right. I don't know if I want to go too much more. For some reason, I've got the unsteady hands tonight. There we go. Okay. All right. I don't think anybody's gonna see that little bit of gray left over. Well, not gray. I think it's kind of like I did a gray and a white on it. Let's see. So we've got all these guys have their leather work done. There was a captain too, I believe, that I had missed. Yeah, this guy. So we'll get you all sorted out real quick. My favorite step is coming up. very shortly here, which is streaking grime, because it makes everything look ghouly, and I absolutely love it. We'll have to do some weathering too on your fists when they're done there, Jack Boy, because I am absolutely in love with this streaking grime stuff. It screams 40k, and just makes everything look really cool. Okay, there we go. A little too much. Let's see. Now what are we on to? We've got to do a red on their... We're going to be using burnt red here for their little kind of banners, I guess. Or not really banners. They just kind of like tied some kind of cloth to their spears. So I'm thinking I'm going to do them in red to match the flags. The Dungeon Minister said that his version of Bargle, I guess, who's a character in there in some of the old D&D stuff, his character Bargle, dude's running a kind of blood red banner, so we're gonna go after that blood red, and this burnt red worked out really well. We're gonna hope it serves us one more time here. I think this stream home stretch for the Legion of the Horde of the Damned is going to be almost the end point. I think I have... I don't think we're going to quite make the weathering step tonight, but I don't know. Sometimes I surprise myself. We will have to see. Again, I'm trying to take this a bit more carefully than I usually do, just because we're at some of the final steps here. I have to get in touch with TJ. TJ was our first commission piece we're going to be doing for the channel. So I can't wait to get with him and talk a bit more. Holy man, that is a huge... that is a huge model. Very cool, Uncle Brett. That must have... That definitely must have been some dedication on that one. That sounds like quite the endeavor. I'm gonna get some tunes rolling here, since I'm gonna probably have to zone in on this. It's just some of this delicate work at the end that I've gotta get through, but totally forgot to get that ready ahead of the show. All right, it's really nice. I can kind of just Bluetooth my phone right into the stream, which is super handy. All right. Just gonna make sure. There we are. Some nice background music to hang out with. Just a little extra touch up on one of the other guys there. Some of them don't actually have ribbons, but here we go. At my local family-run gaming store, they do have quite the setup for model trains, and I like to look at it every time I go in there. They always like to kind of keep it fresh, so I like to see if I can find the new little pieces that they've added since the last time I've been there. That's always fun. Just a quick little tip for you. If you're doing something like these ribbons that's kind of maybe a bit flat, you can always use the edge of your brush too. And from the, like, depending on the width of the object that you're painting, like this guy, for example, you can take the width of your brush, and I find that for this one, it's just like a quarter of the way up the brush. Is about the thickness of this piece of ribbon, and I can just run that whole length of the brush over it instead of having to like actually push the bristles or whatnot. I'll just pull the brush right over it, and it'll take the paint that's been loaded deeper into the brush off onto the model. So that's kind of a fun little trick to use. To get you a bit more precision, I guess, on some of these little bits and bobs. All it is kind of a patience game on some of these things. At this point, you can't really rush anything. You kind of want to just make sure you're taking your time handling your model and whatnot, and just getting all those areas filled in while trying to avoid what you've already painted. Being careful not to hit his head with the, thicker part of the bristles on the brush. Maintaining a clean brush also really helps ensure that you're putting out a great paint job. It keeps the tip, if you see, the tip is constantly this way on this brush, and that's because I keep it clean. And I make sure that if it starts to feel dry on the model, I go right to the my little paint pot, or not paint pot, but rinse pot over there, and I'll go right for it, clean it off, and we'll be right on and nice and pointed. Just little strokes all the way around the model on these guys to fill in these little bits and bobs. Really enjoy model painting because at the end of the project, when you look back at your work, you see it and you see the work that you've put into it, and it reminds me that great things can sometimes take a long time to do. And I enjoy that. It keeps me kind of sane, to be honest. A lot of things in life are very we see hundreds of thousands of advertisements a day. We see all these things that can give us a quick hit of dopamine, but something like this that has a much more longer lasting kind of dopamine release in your brain, it really brings me some peace and some joy. And it also relieves a lot of stress too. It was really cool to hear about your models there, Uncle Brat. I had no clue that you were into that stuff. I actually met Uncle Brat through, I believe it was James Keck's Discord, where he does a lot of his open gaming sessions as a way to kind of promote his work over there. I met Uncle Brat there. You can take a look at James Keck's works on that Discord too. You can find him on RPG Drive-Thru and the Lulu link below. But he has a Discord. You can find that at the through the Dungeon Delvers Discord too, I think, where you can go in, and he's just got open gaming for folks. I met a lot of great gamers there. They're just really great people, very welcoming, very humble folks there. So if you're looking for, you have a free night in the week, you're looking for a pickup game, go check out James's Discord and his stuff, because he puts on some great role-playing content. And if you're looking for some good old-fashioned Warhammer 40k fun, the guys over at Frost and Fists, they got you covered. I watched one of their battle reports over the trip that I was on. I watched some of their stuff, and it was great. I think at one point they were playing, I think it was like some Terminator on Terminator action for 40k, and they had Freak, I think his name is. He goes by this handle Freak, and then Mythos is the other co-host on there. Freak had some Terminators that were just about ready to try and get their clobber on, and totally whiffed all of the rolls, and the reactions were great. And it's just some genuine good tabletop fun between two guys. They've got some great chemistry there. Very entertaining to watch. So I'd tell you, take a look at their stuff. You won't be disappointed. They're just hilarious. I think they're just funny. we're just trucking through these little ribbons that they've got tied on here. We don't have too many more of these to go. But all these little details really help pull these models from pull these models to my standards that I like to personally paint at. I just like to make sure that all the details at least have some little paint on it. It's one thing because they're skeletons, but I mean, these are warrior skeletons. You got to make them look good. So every I just realized they also have armbands too, so I'm gonna have to go through and I thought originally when I was gonna do this, I was like, man, I should make all these armbands and stuff. I should make them unique so you can kind of track which ones are taking damage, but then I realized that there's no way that I'm gonna be able to put that much paint down, or have the amount of colors. I guess I might have the amount of colors required, but it would just be quite taxing to go through and have to shake up every bottle and actually get them on the mini. So I just decided they're gonna be a uniform army. And I'm sure they'll come up with some way to maybe like some tokens or something to put on them. But it's really nice. You can see we've got some good contrast colors going on with this burnt red, the brown on the belt, the green on their tabards, brass or bronze for their spears. It's all kind of coming together, and the whole palette's making sense, which is nice. I'm gonna check for more armbands here because I was not originally. It looks like this guy does have another ribbon on his trumpet. Now, how skeletons are going to be playing trumpets is beyond me, but we're going to chalk it up to magic, I guess. Here we are. Very nice. Their spears are actually kind of pointy. I'm getting stuck with them as I'm trying to maneuver them around. Sharp little objects. Okay, you don't have one either. All right. I have to get back with Cal too. I spoke with Bo at Bo Paints Minis during the trip as well. He was just finishing up a game. I didn't get a lot of time to speak with him, but we do have some ideas. We are getting that project rolling as well. Could have air bladders, yeah. There you go. They use the air bladder of maybe other animals to sound their trumpets. I suppose you could, like, maybe fit it in their rib cage or something, like just a sheepskin bladder or something that they can compress. Granted, we are going to be doing some, their eyes are going to be glowing. I've determined that to be a fact. I've got to make them look really ghouly. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing some source lighting on their eyes with the airbrush, which is always kind of a fun thing to do. But I have to weather them first before I really go after that particular effect, because I want it to look very strong, like almost neon. That effect we're going to be achieving with almost this mint green, that's going to be their kind of glowing color, and then we'll actually put white in the sockets to really sell the effect. That particular effect is used a lot in like Warhammer 40,000 or other science fiction models where they have like a plasma gun or something kind of crazy like that. I've seen many people do that, and I've done that myself on occasion. But it's a great little tool to use in the toolbox, so to speak. By the way, thanks for coming there, Uncle Brett, and thanks for hanging out, Jack Boy. Jack was on one of my first streams. Keeping me company one night painting, and we were talking about all things 40k lore while doing some stuff. I wouldn't recommend that one for kids, though. We kind of tend to talk like sailors around each other. We have that, we're a bad influence on each other. Really like how these guys are shaping up, though. One at a time, we're getting there. I think I looked back at it, and this whole project is probably going to be around 16 hours of paint work for these guys. Granted, I have been a bit... if I was doing these tabletop style, I think I would have maybe toned down the quality on the paint job just a hair and kind of just left it based. Maybe not even done the weathering on them. Probably just picked out some of the larger details to do than to do every detail on the model. If I was going to just run them on the tabletop for myself, personally, that is. But since these are headed out to somebody to have a great time, Necrons and orcs forever. Necrons scare the crap out of me, Uncle Brat. They do. Orcs are kind of always there. They're loota, shoota kind of guys, Gork and Mork, gotta love them. The MVPs of the orc world. But, Tyranids, they come, they devour. But Necrons scare the crap out of me. They're mortal robots that keep getting up over and over and over again. If you ever play the tabletop game, you'll understand why. It's just nuts. Like, Playing against a Necron player makes me pucker. Because I really like playing tabletop war games because you get the experience of, you know, kind of this, you know, this actual battlefield in front of you, and you're playing the game and you get these little narrative events that happen, you know, a challenge from one commander to another, and it leads to kind of this one-on-one duel, or maybe a really insane long shot from a tank that fires across and actually hits its target, and you have this catastrophic explosion that happens, taking out a key unit, or something that was really hindering you, or your enemy gets the pounce on you after a particularly interesting area to be engaged in. I really enjoy those moments. And the cinematic scenes you get with Necrons on the tabletop are they're kind of nuts. It's this, you know, Terminator style million T-1000 guys just rolling up on you, and you shoot them and they get back up and they get back up, they get back up. It's almost like that that carnival shooting gallery with the ducks or something, where they keep getting back up. And you keep losing guys, and your guys stay down for good, but theirs just keeps coming back over and over again. So that's why the Necrons really scare me. Orcs, I love the orcs though. They're pretty scary too. Oh hey, Frost and Fists, just the guys I was talking about like just a couple minutes ago. I was telling them about watching your battle report and seeing your stream playing Space Hulk while I was on the road. Watched you guys at the hotel a couple times. Great stuff. But thanks for being here. Appreciate it. We're just working on some of these little pennants, or I guess kind of tied on ribbons that these skeleton guys got. I do want to do up some 40k stuff again though. I have a ton of 40k stuff in the pile of shame to get through. Oh man, hey, have fun playing Darktide there, Frost and Fists. You're gonna have a great time. I guarantee it. Darktide is an epic game. Go have fun. Go have fun. And if you need to, I'm sure I'll see you in the replay. It's been really fun making all kinds of new friends of the channel with some of the folks out there, watching what they're up to, meeting up with them. Like I said, Frost's got some great stuff. Freaking Mythos out there doing the Emperor's work. Say, Uncle Brad, I was wondering, how was that cooking convention? I know you said you were a little tired from it, but I think the last time we had spoken, you had seen some kind of cooking convention out there. in the world. Was just wondering how that was. If you learned anything from it or had a good time. It sounded like you had a good time, anyways. Are you guys streaming Darktide tonight too, Frost and Fists? Because I'd love to play some Darktide with you at some point. I'm sure that'd be a good time. When Darktide first kind of came out, I used some of my audio production skills, and I pitched my voice in such a way, and I used some filters on it. And I ended up sounding like one of the voice actors for the Ogrins. So I played an Ogrin named Bragg, and it was hilarious. I just tricked people. They totally thought it was the voice actor talking, and I'd just say silly stuff and, you know, mention their names or whatnot. It was a great time. Really got into the role play of it. People thought it was a whole lot of fun. I played with a couple of streamers too that just found it hilarious. So it might be time to break that out at some point. Well, there you go. I do hope you have a good time. By the way, good luck out there surviving Tertius. You're gonna need it. The Emperor protects. Or Tertium. Tertium, that's what it's, not Tertius. Looking good. You're ready for war, little skeleton soldier. Oh, nice. Okay, awesome. Awesome. I'm glad you had a good time at the cooking convention there. Or I believe it was an exhibition, actually, if I recall correctly. But I'm glad you had a good time. Hey, thanks. It's an entire horde, man. We've got like, I think close to 30 skeletons total in this particular batch army here. And it's going out to another YouTube channel called The Dungeon Minister, who's an actual minister who really likes to play Dungeons and Dragons and does these really cool recaps of his sessions that he does with his family during their game night, and he puts them online and does some editing to them. They're really entertaining and really cool. So I reached out to him and I was like, hey, I gotta paint you something. Like, the stuff you're making here is just too cool, and I want to know how I can help. And I remember he was in one of my first streams for the Grenadier Red Dragon that I did. This 1980s Grenadier Red Dragon, really old model, kind of iconic model that I did up for another channel. And I put the question out there, you know, what's your favorite creature? What's your favorite monster from, you know, Dungeons and Dragons? And he was like, oh, it's got to be the skeleton for me. So told him, like, let's get you an army of skeletons. So I got these guys 3D printed over at the Sundered Studios in the UK. Had them shipped here, and now we're getting them all ready for their debut over on his channel. So I can't wait to see that happen. He's got a couple of young boys, and his wife, I believe, is playing, and their adventures are just a hoot, and it has like a pretty good theme to it as well, or a good narrative, I should say. So it's pretty gripping. Some of the key moments are very very interesting to watch. He also does some really cool like little scratch build home brew things that he does, which is a lot of fun too. Some like goblin tanks or something that he's made out of like toothpicks and like cereal cardboard, and I thought that was ingenious. The way that he did it was just really cool. He made tree trunks out of toilet paper, like toilet paper rolls, and some other stuff, and it comes out looking really good too. So he's got some crafting genius going on in there too. We've got 3 more of these guys to go. Yeah, Dungeon Minister has some really wonderful Beck Me stuff. I didn't even know what Beck Me meant until I started diving into his stuff. Both him and the Dungeon Delver are a huge wealth of knowledge for some of that old school Dungeons and Dragons history. And like I was saying earlier, if you're into like 40k history, Who Took My Dice? If you're talking about anything Ultramarines, that guy he's a historian basically for that stuff. I just really like seeing people doing what they, you know, their passions. That's my big thing. I like seeing people out there having a good time and, you know, spreading information of, you know, on gaming, because it's a great hobby to be a part of, and I think it's a wonderful dissuader from people doing other things in life that might be a bit more detrimental to them. I think personally that today's society, it's really hard to be that there's a lacking, a little bit of a hole when it comes to people and trying to find community. It can be kind of tough, or maybe a little intimidating. But you can find that community in many places, and the hobby is, you know, it spans so many different things, from wargaming to painting to lore writing to being a historian of lore for a specific game. You can meet so many great people in the hobby. So I think it's a great way to help people find that sense of community in an era where we're sometimes really disconnected at times, or sometimes it can feel a little bit isolating. So it's really nice to see people out there building communities around the hobby, inviting new people in, and people having the ability to engage and have community through this wonderful thing. And that's our last skeleton there for all of their armbands and whatnot. I think I've got just a little bit more cleanup to go. Actually, I just saw some of the skulls that are on the actual bases of the commander ranks here were not painted, so we're gonna do that up as long as we're here and in the mood. Sitting at about hour 12 for the stream. Just want to make sure I don't go over that limit. Otherwise, I'm not sure what they'll do, but I have a feeling that they're gonna kind of just shut me down midstream if I hit that 20-hour limit without paying for their service. That's kind of my fear, anyways. Yes, skulls. Here we go. Got that guy. We got one more over here. Oh, this one's actually decent. Cool. So we'll call that good there. How are we doing on dry time here? Got it's like a mist brush stroke. That's a tongue twister. Give that one a shot if you want a mist brush stroke. Hey, what's up, Mini Warmut? Hey, and it's Cal too. Good to see you, Cal. You guys, I had a conversation with Cal. He's got an amazing collection of miniatures. Was it like 15,000? I believe it was. Miniatures that he's got. Just a nuts amount of them. And then Mini Warmut, welcome to the stream. How you doing? Finally back from a little bit of a road trip. We're right back onto these skeletons for your challenge. I was talking about that earlier on in the stream. How I thought it was really cool how so many people and so many channels have kind of banded around this, and how wonderful it is to see everybody kind of interacting with each other. It's been a great way to get connected with channels I didn't even know about. But thanks for coming, and thanks for putting on this challenge to get all these creative minds kind of in the same space. But we are I saw your update. It looks like that table of white is getting, yeah, he's got a lot of miniatures. Hey Cal, can you drop that number in the chat if you can? Just how many of these miniatures you got? I told him if he needs help painting some, I'll help. Yeah, 15,000. And they're like 28 millimeter fantasy miniatures, or not fantasy, but like medieval, I guess, if I remember right. They're all like 28 millimeter minis. It just blew my mind. But it looked like that table of white that you had there, Mini Warmut, was getting more and more color to it. I was happy to see that. Keep on the great work. Do we do the weathering tonight? Let's see. That's gonna be awfully wet to put on there. We'll try it out. We'll see what happens. If it's too much, we'll put it going. Yeah. Cal, that number astonishes me every time. 50K. You gotta have an award or something. So this is AK Streaking Grime. This is what we're gonna use to dirty down our skeletons. I'm gonna give it a good shake in the shaker. We're gonna get some weathering going on in here to make these guys look like they just crawled out of the grave. So say, Mini Warmud, as long as I got you here, I know that you've been talking about having the lives going on in some of your videos. Do you just have these going on like in little panels on your monitors or something like that? Kind of like a stock trader? You're just checking in on all the minis? Just having, you know, a bunch of these little streams going on all over the place on your monitors? Oh yeah, definitely. Streaking Grime is a godsend, and to me personally, that's like I absolutely love it. It is a wonderful product. Just gonna kind of clean out one of these wells here. I don't really clean out this palette. It just keeps kind of collecting, and I kind of like it that way. But I gotta get me some of those like little. You know, like little pill containers or whatever, those tiny little 1 ounce or less cups. Painting Greeks. All right. What kind of war game are they going to, Mr. Mutt? I'm gonna grab myself a pipette real quick here. Huh. Alright, so I've got a couple of pipettes here just to keep things clean. I'm going to use not this brush because it's a really nice sable brush that I kind of want to keep in good condition here. That's I've been using the Monument Hobbies Pro Sable series. This happens to be a number 3. This is kind of my go-to brush for so many things. If you haven't seen them, Monument Hobbies, they make some excellent paints. I love their paints. My whole collection is nothing but their pro acryl paints. I'll just give you, just so you can see the label, but my whole collection is these paints. Some of my favorites. And I mean, I've used other paints. I've got the MSP Master Series stuff. I even have Vallejo's Model Airline. I've got some GW pots that I've been kind of messing about with, but Monument Hobbies has killed it. I had to switch everything over to their stuff. It's just too good. And it's RPG Grandma! Hey! Coming in. You're gonna learn the Hail Caesar system. Okay, cool, cool. Sounds like a lot of fun there, Mini Warmut. I was talking about you earlier too. I was just saying I've really been liking your videos on the communication and whatnot of RPGs, as well as your thoughts on role-playing games and in the kind of digital age. I've really enjoyed that there, RPG Grandma. But welcome there to the live chat with all the other lounge cats. You working some more on your oh boy, kobolds. I think you were working on some kobolds, if I remember right. On the base coats. Gotcha. All right, so here we go. I'm just straight from the pot here. We're gonna just go all over this guy. He's gonna get a whole kit and caboodle of it. And this looks like totally nasty right now, but as soon as you start getting some of those, some of the white spirits on here, I can start picking out areas that I want to kind of ungrime a bit. So we're gonna let these guys sit for just a couple minutes after we go through the streak and grime process here. We'll come back, let still soluble with the mineral spirits to get it off of them. Hey, there you go. Well, hey, thanks for checking in, RPG Grandma. Your presence is always appreciated over here at Paint Minis. Big friend of the show. RPG Grandma was one of the ones there too, in the very beginning. He's been a huge cheerleader for the channel over here. I want to make sure I hit their bronze spear tips. We'll do a couple of these guys. I think we're sitting at about an hour and a half on the stream. I keep calling out the timestamps just because I have, you know, I'm using the StreamYard, you know, their free plan or whatever, and you only have a certain, I think it's like 20 hours a month that you can use for free. And I'm kind of getting real close to that limit. So I've got to watch how many hours I'm putting in now until the next month. As you can see, this weathering process doesn't really take a ton of time, which I love. It's a great way to get some huge results pretty quick. It's been a heck of a lot of fun, though. I can't express it enough, just meeting all these new people. I've seen, there's been a couple of World War II painters that I've seen come up through Mini War Mutts Challenge that have just kind of blown me away with some of their tank paints. Great stuff. So we're just trucking away, giving these guys a bath of this streaking grime. It's 100% or nothing when it comes to streaking grime, in my personal opinion. Because you can take it off. You can take it off. And I tend to just slather them. Give them a good old bath. And I mean, this looks like you're totally wrecking the thing while you're doing it. And it's the first time I did this, I was really clenched. I was like, oh my gosh, did I just wreck, you know, however many hours of painting that I just put into this project? Like, what the heck happened? I'm slathering this stuff all over and it just looks, I mean, it looks definitely grimy, but this looks too grimy. But we'll see here in a couple of minutes. I'm gonna slowly be doing, one guy is getting the grime, the other guy is getting his wash down to kind of relieve some of the grime, so to speak. And we'll see then what it looks like. Hey, how's it going? Tonka Todd's in the house. The party can finally start. Todd, we've got some newfound friends of the show coming in tonight. It's been a lot of fun seeing them and hearing them. Frost and Fists is in here tonight. Cal's back. Uncle Brat's in the chat. RPG Grandma. Mini War Mutt. I think Spartan Nerd was in here too, a little bit too. But I'm happy that the party can finally start, because you're up in here. For those of you that don't know, Todd's been a huge friend of the channel. He's been kind of helping me figure out the whole YouTube game a little bit, and kind of coaching me through some ways to put the name out there. Just a wonderful guy, and hilarious too. That guy will have you. Don't drink anything around him, because he'll end up laughing so hard you'll spit it out. I hope you're doing well there, Todd. It's good to see you. I think I will have to leave the rest of the weathering. Like I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to all of these guys on tonight's stream, but I'm going to try and get through a decent amount of them. Right now we're just putting on the streaking grime to do some weathering on these guys, really make them feel like they're coming right out of the grave, so to speak. But I think we're gonna start washing these guys down. All right, so where's my clean pipette here? Gotta grab. Let's see here. Oh, Dungeon Minister! Speak of the man, he's coming in. He's coming in. How you doing, Dungeon Minister? It's good to see you. Full of cats, full of lounge cats. I couldn't be happier. Yeah, please, let's see, let's get that one on the stream. Rely a lot on the back and forth with Freak and the chat when live streaming. How do you never run out of stuff to talk about? Well, to be honest, they're Frost and Fists. I rely heavily on the chat too, and it's a great way to interact with folks, and it's a wonderful way to I guess give yourself some ideas to talk about. Just interacting with people, period, in your chat is great for kind of keeping the I guess talk show element of your show going. I personally think I wish I kind of had a co-host, because it would be really nice to be able to bounce off of somebody for a show like this. But I do what I can, so I tend to just kind of create talking points off the top of my head and then ping right off a chat forum too. I'll maybe recall about somebody doing something in particular, that they said they were going to go on a trip for the weekend or something, so I'll ask them about that, and maybe we'll talk about some of that in the back and forth in the chat. But I think that's pretty usual for things like that to happen. And I kind of try and have some music playing on the stream here, so that people have something to listen to when I'm kind of just tunneling in and doing what I need to make the finished project, so to speak. I often will put the music on to just kind of have that as a little bit more to fill the dead air. There we go. That's what I'm looking for, to fill the dead air. But as it goes for like running out of stuff to talk about, that is hard. That is a challenge, you know. Trying to have some things to talk about ahead of time. This is kind of, I guess, getting close to what I'm looking for on these models. Really grimy, but also you can see the color come through that grime when you start taking it off. Is there a humidity problem? That's a good question. Let me see here. Are you talking about for this weathering effect? It's not super humid here. And Dungeon Minister, I had a great time on my trip. It was wonderful to see some family that I haven't seen. The last time I was actually down in their neck of the woods was about 10 years ago, which is far too long, but I was super happy to see them. Love seeing my aunt and uncle down there. Wonderful folks. Where do you get it? No, I don't. I haven't taken any copyright things for it, but I get it from Spotify. There's some playlists on there that you can access. You can take a look for them. I just looked up copyright-free or royalty-free. Royalty-free is a little different. I think it was like strike-free gaming was one of the playlists that I found, and these people kind of curate their playlist specifically with artists and producers that make music that's not copywritten or will trigger the YouTube's copyright system, because they've made their own stuff. They put it out for free for exposure and such. But that's where I find the music is just on ye old Spotify, and you'll hear a lot of the same songs, but it's mostly because trying to find this music is really hard. So just remember, it's there for background. It's there for your background enjoyment. What's that one skeleton's name and what's his story? This is Carl. Everybody meet Carl, the spear-wielding skeleton. Carl was in a horrible jousting match when his shield was destroyed and his reputation tarnished by a rival, and he ended up out on the streets for a little bit before eventually succumbing to the elements and joining the Horde of the Undead, where he has found friends and family alike in his bony brethren. So there you have it. That's the story of that particular mini. Okay. Well, I'll definitely have to look into StreamYard's subscription service then. A lot of the show has been a lot of outflow so far of capital, so I'm hoping in the future when Paint Minis gets a little larger, I can open that up to the community to see if they want to help support the show. Because a lot of these things are costing a decent amount of cash. But again, it furthers that mission that I'm really into of, spreading the joys of the hobby and getting more people into it, and instead of into other things that could be a bit more detrimental to them. Like I said, that's kind of the goal here at Paint Minis Live. Let's see. TJ, how's it going? Good to see you. Bargle fireball in the ice cream parlor. Yeet. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it is a little humid here, that's for sure. But this stuff's this is oil-based and so on and so forth. It's one of the few oil-based products that I use on the show. I try to keep it acrylic for most of it, just because I know that there might be kids or whatnot that are gonna go and paint. Well, that's unfortunate. Oh well. We've had our first casualty, friends. It's alright. We're gonna finish you up just gently. It's alright. We're gonna get some glue and get this soldier back at his post. It's alright. Where's my glue? Here we go. Carl, no, right? I'm sure maybe Warmut, maybe you know this pain. The pain of when the model snaps off the base. Oh boy. That's all right. We've got super glue at hand, friends. We can make anything work. Carl's got life alert. He's fallen, but he's got me to get him back up. Yeah, Carl no toes. He doesn't have any toes. Now I've got to hold this awkwardly on stream while the super glue dries. Painting lizardmen, yeah. That'll happen. At least now he looks like he's got a fractured foot, which is kind of cool. Help! I'm falling and I can't get up. Right, they need a skelly medic. Indeed. Let's see if we can... Okay, Carl's gonna go to the back ranks. He needs some R&R. Alright, Carl. Be a good boy and you sit in the back. And just heal your wounds there. You've got a whole campaign to look ahead to. You've got to be a small soldier, man. You've got some fine little kidlets out there who need some skeletons in their life. And that's your job, your porpoise, so to speak. His purpose, but a skelepothecary. I love it. There you go. All right. Full of bones and glue, yeah. Well, can you imagine if that in that doctor's bag it's not just skeleton bones? You know, he's got like a squirrel bone or something. You end up with like it's like I don't think I can pay this medical bill for this, you know, this broken leg that's got to come off, man. This leg's got to come off, right? I don't know if I can pay this medical bill, but you know, can I get one of those discount squirrel legs? And then he's just kind of walking around with a little, like, chubby, like, tiny little legs. So I'm just kind of dabbing this sponge. I'm trying not to wipe too much. I just kind of want to dab this around on the areas that are raised. So I get kind of a splotching effect, and if it's too heavy somewhere, it's kind of kept around by its peers. But it's leaving this beautiful dark coffee staining throughout the entire model, and it just makes me feel like I want to Emerald Lagasse. Bam! There's your skeleton. Bam! Little extra streak and grind. Bam! Sorry, we're all about the shenanigans here, but these guys are turning out really cool. Let's get a little close-up action. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Now we're really in the land of the dead. A lot of detail there now. Gotta use multiple clamps, indeed, there, Uncle Brat. Better be one heck of a discount. I would hope so. I think my dad at one point met Mario Batali. I'm pretty sure that's his name, with the guy with the Crocs. I guess he was a little full of himself, but he met him at a cooking competition for firefighters, the Tabasco Cooking Ladder competition in New York City. My dad was a very accomplished firefighter and chef. And he ended up meeting Mario over there. Hey, thanks for the love, guys. I appreciate it. It's kind of nice when you're seeing your work finally kind of come to life, and watching all that hard work finally pay off. And to me, the weathering step is that step right there, when all of that hard work starts to pay off, and you see the returns of all that work that you did, and these little models start coming to life, looking like they were just coming right out of the ground, baby. And I did, I wanted to leave a decent amount of this behind, but I didn't want it to. I didn't want to leave all of it behind, because I wanted them to still have that depth and tone to them of, some of these brighter colors. This red a little bit, on their pennants. I just want to kind of have it poke out, but this will make them look just good, just grand. All right, how many more of these guys do we have? Let's see. Food Network's reviewed spots. There you go. Yeah, I like. I've been to a couple of Guy Fieri's recommended spots. They're pretty good. Pretty good. You can always tell when Guy Fieri doesn't like the food or whatever, because he'll just start kind of listing off the ingredients and be like, yeah, you can definitely taste the chicken in there, and that beef is really cooked, and he'll just do stuff like that. If he doesn't really like it, he's really subtle about it. He'll never put anybody down, but that's kind of how you tell he wasn't really a huge fan of that item. But I've been to some of the places that he's recommended, and I have to admit, pretty good food. Guy's got definitely a tuned palate, that's for sure. Swiss Army knife would only work on neutrals. What do I paint for? RPG, war games, or something else? So lately, the RPG community, when I first started, I was doing just kind of strictly Warhammer stuff with the and doing stuff for the wargaming community for 40K. But that really branched out very quickly to the role-playing game scene. My first big kind of debut was with the Dungeon Delver over on his channel. He talks everything kind of classic AD&D, like first edition Dungeons and Dragons kind of thing. That's his shtick. And I got in touch with him, asked him if he wanted a paint job done, put it out to a vote in his community what models to send me, and they voted on it. I got this red dragon, and so that kind of spurred on a lot of involvement with the RPG community. That's where I met RPG Grandma. That's where I met the Dungeon Minister, and a lot of other folks too. I've kind of met through that. So right now, these guys are going for an RPG campaign put on by the Dungeon Minister, but my real love though is 40K. That's kind of where I got my start painting. So I am looking forward to doing some more of those projects. But now the RPG community are coming in, and I've got people looking for commissions, which I have to get back to. I think it was TJ about doing a commission piece. I believe he wanted some stuff done, and also Cal. I stuck my hand out there and told him, you know, hey, if you need some help with the minis. So I'm looking forward to working with Cal, maybe getting an interview in with him too. So it's been a lot of RPG stuff over here so far, but I am looking to get back to the roots. Do I let minor mistakes go when painting armies? This Greek will have a unibrow next. Hey, you know, some of those guys, you just gotta keep them because they have a story. You know, that like the Greek with the unibrow, like that's a funny story. And like when you put that guy on the board, you'll always know that that's, you know, Timothus, the guy with the unibrow or whatever, you know, and you can laugh about it and kind of have a good bar story, so to speak, to rattle off to whoever you're playing against, or if somebody asks you about that model, you got a real good icebreaker story for it. About mistakes though, for me personally, models that I like to paint, every model I paint has some flaws in it. I mean, it's just, you know, no artist is perfect, you know, otherwise we'd just have, you know, manufactured models running around and they'd be all totally uniform and all look really pretty, but they wouldn't have much character to them. So yeah, there are definitely flaws in my models. You know, if I'm gonna paint up an army though, I tend to really go in for the detail and not let a ton slide, just because I like having kind of a showpiece army. You know, this is anything that I work on, I try and do it to the best of my ability. An army this large though, in the amount of time that I'm trying to get it done, there are going to be some flaws. There are some parts that maybe have a little green on the bones, so to speak, from their green tabards or whatever. So that'll happen. I just got done going through and trying to clean up some of that as I've been working here. But for the most part, you know, I will leave little imperfections on my own personal works just because I know I can always go back, fix them later or whatever. I don't seal most of my personal works because I tend to go back and strip them a lot and want to redo them. Yeah, Snaggletooth the Beholder for TJ. That's on my list, and I gotta get with you, TJ. Sometime this week, I'll send you a message here on Discord, and we can get that ball rolling for you. A Greek Cyclops, how fitting. Not gonna lie, isn't it? And that's part of their mythology too, isn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong. I am not super huge on the histories. Hoo-wee. Fumes are... I might actually have to turn on the airbrush booth here, or the spray booth. The fumes in here are Feeling real good. Makes it really hard to hear, but yeah, I'm gonna have to. Okay, gotcha. All right, thanks, Dungeon Minister. I'm gonna. Oh God, I forgot. I took the the little plug for the spray booth out actually, and I was using it for a back massager. I had a huge crick in my neck last night, so I was using it upstairs. That's too bad. Odysseus. Got it. Well, I think I'm gonna do up a couple more of these guys, and then I'm gonna probably call it a night. We're getting to about the 2-hour mark, and I with the way StreamYard's going, I do want to have a couple more sessions this month, but I'm kind of reaching their 20-hour allotted amount of stream time on their free plan. So I'll have to bid this adieu soon here, but I'm gonna do up a couple more of these guys for your enjoyment while I'm around. I think we will call that good there. I'm gonna get my pipette with these mineral spirits here and just get a brush cleaning well, because you can't actually get this stuff off with water. You have to get it off with these mineral spirits. Carl's asking for French fries. Yeah, right. Too many of those fumes and I'll hear Carl talking. So, hey Bill, I was just wondering, do you prefer steak fries or French fries? You know, I'm kind of a steak fry guy, a bit of a fry aficionado. They call me Carl's Jr. back at the shop. I mean, can you believe that? I might be a fry guy, but you know, my name is Carl, not Carl Jr. I don't know where they get that from. I mean, whatever you do, don't put me in front of crinkle cuts, though. I'm not a fan of crinkle cuts or curly fries. I'm Carl the fry guy. I like my steak fries. Okay. All right. We got that brush kind of cleaned off. It's a throwaway brush anyways. All right, let's get this sponge a little bit loaded. Okay, let's get some of these guys cleaned up. Oh man, those horns kicked in. I don't know what this song is, but whoever wrote this one, this is a banger. I'm a sucker for brass. And those horns came in. Ooh. Kind of want to make that my theme song. Which I have to upload too. I have to figure out how to get that playing. I have the same photographer that did some beauty shots for the website. She's coming back over sometime towards the end of the month here to do an intro video. We're gonna do some actual filming in the studio here for a legitimate intro. Kind of make this feel a bit more professional. Looking good. I think fries would go right through Carl. Yeah, right? He doesn't even have a digestive tract. Hi, I'm Boney Betty, and I'm here to talk to you about the Horde of the Damned. We have an awesome fitness program. You lose a ton of weight really quickly. Don't worry about it, it's a heck of a lot of fun. You'll enjoy meeting your new friends. They like to play dice, also made out of bones. We have a wonderful retirement program. It's called Going Back into the Dirt. Consider joining the Horde of the Damned today. And you too can be an undead skeleton warrior. These guys probably have a better retirement program than I do. That's the sad part. Yeah, the Horde needs you! Anti-carb diets. Yeah, there you go. Right on, RPG Grandma. I love it. So we'll just do a quick side-by-side. Bring out your dead! I love that. So just to give you an idea, guys, this is what's happening here. This is the one on this side here has not been treated yet. The one on the left is fully weathered and ready to go. And that kind of gives you an idea here. We'll even put up one of the ones that hasn't been done. You can see the whole process. So right here, this is, maybe you want to see the backside a bit for the color, the actual color change. This, yeah, here we go. We got another recruit here. So this guy just came out of basic Bony Boy training. This one's been in for a couple of years, but hasn't got his release papers yet. And this is what happens when you get out of the Bony Boy, the Horde of the Damned. But that kind of shows you the transition. Sorry, let's see here. Rearrange them. This shows you the entire process from start to finish. You can kind of see one's very stark white, then you get it really dark, and then you can kind of bring the color back out, and that shows you the entire thing there. Okay, are you done? You are done. You're done. You can go sit with your bros. Also, this weathering effect gives you some very nice, not necessarily like uniformity to your models too, which is nice. They all kind of look a little different depending on how much of this stuff you take off, which is really cool. Kind of gives you the ability to make each one either a bit darker, a bit more unique, with almost no effort. I mean, it's very quick, easy, dirty, simple. Kind of weathering effect that can bring out a lot of pop real quick. I'll bring the camera over and just, yeah, rare, medium, and well done. Hey, thank you, RPG Grandma. We're gonna get this last couple skeletons out of the way here before I end the stream tonight. And then I'll be back on when time allows, and I'll make sure that I put that ahead of time so that you guys that have the notifications on can go ahead and take a look and see if you can make it. I loved having everybody here tonight. It's been just a hoot, and seeing everybody too. I do appreciate you coming to check out my work. makes it worthwhile, you know. Feel less like a starving artist and more like a accomplished painter. Let's see. You're good. You're good. I'll have to bring the camera over. We can get a little get some beauty shots. Looking good. All right. I'm gonna make the camera a little wiggly here, but I'd like to kind of show you guys what these guys look like over here. So I'm gonna pick up the camera and give you a little sneaky peeky view here. Let's see here. How can we get them to focus? Not sure if they're really gonna want to focus. There we go. Some pretty cool looking minis there. Well, the Horde of the Damned is finally taking shape, friends, and it's all thanks to your company and your continued support over here for Paint Minis Live. Anyways, I think it's about time for me to go and grab some food here real quick, and before I head to bed. But thank you guys, everyone for showing up tonight. I really appreciate everybody coming out and taking a look at the stream. Anyways, I'm Bill T for Paint Minis Live out here in the Creation Cave. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you again very soon for the rest of the weathering on these guys. Everybody have a great night and a great start to your week coming up tomorrow. So take care, and we'll see you in the next one.